Here at FlowCode, we're about learn and integrate models, and the integrate is maybe something we felt was missing from a lot of systems that discuss flow. I mean, there is a lot of theory out there. We added our own bits, obviously, and we do believe our courses are a great first step to get to know and understand flow, because it is an important element that you know what the main components are. But then it's all about integration and how to start living it, because so many people go to courses or they don't even finish the courses, or they do, but then like after the course, it's like, oh yeah, that was nice. They feel a bit better. And then that's it, they stop and they forget about it and they buy a new course, and always in hope of some transformation to happen. We're trying to be very concrete here and say, look, this is a journey, for sure, of just kind of slowly incorporating flow into your life, and then through a certain period, this magic of flow starts to kick in. You become more of a flow personality, and then it becomes easier and easier. Then you would like to do all these techniques, but initially it can be a challenge, because it's creating any new habit is definitely a challenge, and it takes time, and that was the reasoning behind why we felt a flow club is so important, because we have 1,000+ flow triggers, so techniques, short techniques, from breath work to meditation to movement modalities to sound, so all those possible channels that can get you into the state of flow. But then we saw, okay, if they're just sat there, are people really gonna use them? How do we enable people to, because every company would like their things to be used, not, okay, now people are entering a membership and then 1,000+ triggers are just there. How do we get people to really start using this? How do we assist? How can we provide a certain level of accountability? And I think the Flow Club is answering that. Hallam's going to walk you through all the elements and how we see this. But for me, it's a club where flow practitioners join of different levels, and where we can hold each other accountable, help each other, share experience. The journey is sometimes tough, sometimes it's fun. So why not see others on that journey, which already in itself should be a boost.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when I think Flow Club, two kind of words come to mind for me. One is community, and then the other is integration. So one of the things that we always wanted to do better was that community aspect. We knew as we started to grow FlowCode, we started to get more and more people in from different backgrounds, different experience levels, different skill levels. We wanted to enable all of you to collaborate with one another and kind of hold each other, like you said, accountable to implementing this stuff, training it on a daily basis. Because although Rick's an expert, of course, we don't have all the answers at FlowCode, and we definitely haven't had all the experiences that the whole community has. So we want to enable more collaboration and facilitate that interaction between members. And the Flow Club obviously is a big part of it, through the live experiences that we host, whether that's through the live flow boosts, whether that's through the live flow sessions. There's that interaction, that ability to communicate as humans, that human connection between one another. And also, like Neza mentioned, the accountability is a key part of it as well. It's very difficult for us, although we do want to continue training it, it's very difficult to build that self-discipline with something new, with brand new habits. But if we can be around a community of people that are also committed to enhancing, to improving this part of their life, then it kind of inspires us to do the same. It inspires us to stay consistent, to stay dedicated, and keep training this part of our life. So that's kind of the two words. Community is a big part, and then the integration part of how we now make this part of our daily lives. Yes, if you're a golfer and you're watching this, yes, we can implement a breath work as we're going through our pre-shot routine and we're about to hit the golf shot. But really, that's not what's going to have a significant impact on our lives or even our golf performance over the long term. The true thing that's going to make that change or make that difference is integrating into our daily lives, into your morning routine. As you're driving, are you using flow techniques? As you're going for a walk, in your evening routine, how are you starting to make it just part of who you are? So as when you then show up under pressure in a performance situation, that it becomes part of your default. You naturally do these things.
Exactly, this is the key word.
Yeah. So that's default, really the key thing there. So community and integration is what kind of comes together to create the Flow Club. And the Flow Club, the way I explain it whenever I'm talking to anyone, is almost similar to a health club or a gym. Okay, the same way you go to a health club or a gym to train your physical fitness, to enhance your physical fitness, the Flow Club is all about training your mind. It's the exact equivalent, but for training your mind. So when we talk about the opportunities or the features that are made up within the Flow Club, we have a ton of live coaching experiences, as I mentioned earlier. This really gives us that opportunity to interact more with the entire community, with all of you members, to support you through that process, and then also to enable you to support everyone else. And that's really the key purpose here. So the Flow Club is made up of a variety of different features. The first one is called Live Flow Boosts, and I'll explain those a bit more in a second. We then have the live flow sessions. We have our AI FlowCode coach, and then we have what we kind of call our library of flow techniques or triggers. And that's kind of our full, almost like full gym of triggers that you can utilize to truly train this stuff on a daily basis. So I'll explain all of those in a bit more detail, so as you can understand what is live flow boosts, what are live flow sessions, what is all of these techniques, what are all these techniques. So the first one, obviously the live flow boosts. The way that I explain those when I'm speaking to anyone is that it's kind of like a gym class schedule for your mind. So if I join a health club or if I join a gym, I know that I'm more than likely going to get offered a group gym class schedule. So on Monday, there may be a spin class. On Tuesday, there could be a body combat. On Wednesday, a HIIT workout. And I know that I can attend that with other like-minded people to train within that community environment and also be held accountable by the trainer that's going to show up and lead the class. Live flow boosts are exactly the same thing, but for your mind. That's the power of them, that we become a part of a community. We have live coaching on a daily basis, sometimes twice per day as Flow Club members. And we're also exposed to a variety of different techniques. So we don't do the same technique every time. On Mondays, we do meditations. On Thursdays, I believe we do sound and we do breath work. On Fridays, we do some breath work. On Tuesdays, we do movement. So we have a whole variety of different techniques. The same way, again, you don't have the same gym class every single day. You have a variety that you can start to decide which ones do I enjoy the most, which ones do I find most effective, and then join those that you find most valuable for you. So that's really the live flow boost concept. The live flow sessions are an extended version of those. They're slightly more educational. They're essentially where one of our FlowCode coaches, so it could be Dr. Accessinghouse, he hosts maybe some guests or just discusses a topic himself and really talks about the educational piece, some of the frameworks, some of the concepts that sit behind FlowCode, whilst then integrating throughout that workshop, integrating some of the practical elements that connect to that framework or that concept. They're usually about 60 to 90 minutes compared to the live flow boosts that vary from 15 to 30 minutes. So a much longer and extended version. And you also have that ability to have some live Q&A at the end as well, or throughout if there's a smaller group that are attending. So those live flow sessions happen monthly, but they're educational to continue your development, continue your learning within the FlowCode community. The next thing we have is the AI FlowCode coach. Now this for me is actually one of the most powerful features, and it's a big part of our mission to help every single one of you that become Flow Club members to understand how you can utilize it to its maximum capacity. Because really the possibilities and the uses of it are endless and they're phenomenal. When we come to the AI FlowCode coach, obviously it could be beneficial for different audiences. So if you're a coach, it can be beneficial to help you build session plans specifically for certain audiences, for certain skill levels, for certain ages. It can help you understand how you can support your players that might be going through certain situations. So essentially, all you would do if you're a coach is you would type in the situation that you currently are facing. So let's say you are about to host a session, 1 hour session, where you have 6 golfers. They're all 5 handicap and better, and you want them to work on their focus whilst also improving their short game. If you type that scenario in and ask for a session plan to be provided based on that scenario, our AI FlowCode coach will provide you the entire session plan as a starting point. Now, by no means will you use just that session plan, right? You might use it as a starting point to spark more creativity in you, so as you can come up with more ideas. But one of the biggest questions that I get from coaches, regardless of whether it's in golf, in life, or any aspect, is how do I apply this as soon as possible to my players? How do I take these incredible FlowCode principles and techniques, and how do I integrate it into my coaching? How do I apply it to my players? And the AI FlowCode coach can help you do that, because it will build games for you, session plans for you, all of those things that can help you immediately integrate it into the things you're already doing. Even if it's just in small doses, in small little tweaks. Again, like we mentioned, it's not usually the one-off big things that change your player's perspective or performance. It's these small changes that you start to make on a consistent basis. So every time they show up to a lesson, have them do a breath work. Every single time you're working on technique, ensure that there's some component of FlowCode embedded into that session. All of those small changes that start to become part of what they do and what you do with them on a regular basis can have a huge impact. So again, the AI FlowCode coach helps you do that. From a player perspective, exactly the same. If you're at the driving range and you want to work on your focus or your confidence or your emotional control or even your visualization, you can have the AI FlowCode coach create specific games unique to you. So the real power of it is that it personalizes your experience with FlowCode. No longer do you have to go through a library and find just techniques that are more generic, but you can actually personalize your entire experience. So you say exactly what scenario you're going through right now, and you ask for specific solutions based upon that challenge or that scenario that you're facing. So that's the power of the AI FlowCode coach. The final piece of the Flow Club then are all of the techniques, the full library of techniques. So we have, and you'll see in there, if you look within the platform, you'll see things like train with breath, train with meditation, train with movement, train with mindsets, train your sleep. The long list goes on. And within every single one of those sections, you have a whole library of these different tools and techniques, what we call triggers, to help you train this on a daily basis. Now, the power of it is that you'll never get bored, that's for sure. You can constantly be applying variety. You can be changing up your routines. So as you're utilizing different techniques to change your state in any given moment. So really the power of what that is and why we've built such a big library is that we understand that each and every one of you are unique. You're all individuals. We have different tendencies, different preferences. And the goal that we always say at FlowCode is to help you experiment and experience as many of those different techniques as possible, and then to create your own personal FlowCode. We can guide you, and then for you to understand, okay, which ones did I find most enjoyable, most effective, and now I can build my own personal FlowCode to build my own morning routine, my own daytime, evening routine, and then also routines connected to your sport or whatever discipline you have.
And that's possible only once you come to a point where it becomes a habit, right? So this is why we see such an importance of the club to support you initially, the boost, so that you join at a certain time. That's the same as in the gym analogy,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
A lot of people like group classes because it's a certain time of the day that they need to show up. So here we're trying to give you that structure, that initial structure and accountability that are so needed to build the habit.
Yep.
Once you build that habit, it becomes, for me personally, for example, such a great way to just kind of cherry pick that day when you see, okay, in the morning, I have a morning routine, but I wouldn't always be using the same techniques. I can wake up and say, oh, today I feel like movement, so I'm just going to change it. But in order to reach that point, you need that process of habituation.
Exactly.
Ritualization is another term we like to use because it is a mini ritual that you can create out of almost everything. And once you start viewing life through that lens, I believe that it also becomes, the small things start to matter, and the shifts start to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned, when you first join a gym, you may go and see a personal trainer. You may have some personal training sessions to ensure that you're doing the technique correctly, and also just to create that initial accountability.
Exactly.
And habituation. And then once you have the confidence, they've shown you how to do different techniques, you've done a variety of techniques, and you also have that habit built, you can then go off by yourself and you can build your own programs. You can train different muscle groups yourself. It's the exact same thing when it comes to FlowCode. You're guided through these live flow boosts, you're supported, shown how to do the technique correctly. And then once you start to build that confidence and you have that habituation ingrained into you, you can now go out and you can start to choose your own programs, choose your own techniques, as Neza mentioned, to really start to take it to another level and make it part of who you are. So that kind of gives you a full overview of what the Flow Club is all about, why we built it, and then also obviously how it can help benefit any aspect of your life. Obviously, not just a certain discipline, but all aspects of life, whether that's even your fitness. We do movement, obviously movement exercises, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your career, or of course any other discipline that you choose to benefit. So that's the power of FlowCode. The Flow Club is so connected to that flow personality concept that we discussed before. Making this part of your daily life, who you are, integrating it into every single muscle, every single cell of your body. So as you do truly become that flow personality. And if you want to achieve that, that's what the Flow Club is all about.